They're a really good snacking cookie because you can eat a lot of them and not get sick. I'll put that to the test today. Hello everybody, I'm Vaughn here in the NYT Cooking Studio Kitchen, and today I'm really excited because I'm going to be making blueberry lemon almond cookies. It's this gorgeous lemony batter that gets frozen blueberries folded in that kind of creates this tie-dye effect, and then it gets a nice tart lemony glaze on top. I just kind of think that they're like a perfect cookie. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is whisk my dry ingredients. Taking the care to mix your dry ingredients well is something that always is just a good practice in baking and leads to much more uniform bakes. I'm going to start on the wet ingredients. This just has some granulated sugar. I'm gonna rub lemon zest into the sugar. My mom, when she was pregnant with me, had cravings for lemons. She would eat like a whole slice of lemon. That's why I'm so bitter. And that's also why I've always had a really strong affinity for things that are acidic. So 3 large lemons, should be about 3 tablespoons, and rub it together so it creates this like lemony sugar. It's gonna get so much more fragrant than it already is because those oils in the lemon zest come out in the sugar. This is like wet sand, maybe a high tide sand. I'm going to mix my butter and my sugar together for a few minutes until the sugar starts to homogenize and dissolve a little bit. I like to start it on a slower speed and then raise it to medium speed just to make sure that it's not gonna go everywhere like it is right now. Scrape down the sides. Sometimes that sugar or little pockets of butter like to hang out in this little crevasse. That yolk adds just a little bit of extra fat in there, which helps the texture. Mix that until the eggs pretty much disappear. The lemon juice just adds that bright hit of acidity, and the almond extract is like God's gift to flavoring. So now I'm gonna incorporate the dry ingredients just until a little bit of floury dry bits remain, because I definitely don't wanna overmix it. I like to cover, oh cute! Oh my God, is it Wednesday? No, it's not Wednesday. On Wednesdays we wear pink. Okay, it's starting to come together. There we go. And I still have a little bit of floury bits, but that's okay because I'm gonna incorporate the blueberries by hand, and by the time those are mixed in, everything will be nice and mixed together. I like the wild blueberries because they're a little smaller. They tend to be more blueberry-y than the frozen regular blueberries, if that makes sense. Science. Yeah, science. They just taste better. I like using frozen because it's not like a thin batter like you would be using if you made like a muffin or something like that. They would squish, but these keep their shape. Now it does require a tiny bit of elbow grease because the frozen blueberries are gonna make this batter cold. You could for sure just use your hand mixer, but I just wanna be like really careful not to overmix. They're really pretty. The batter just gets like stained. I'm gonna just cover this and let this dough hydrate for about 10 minutes. This kind of mix, scoop, and bake type cookie always benefits from a little hydration. Another good thing about that resting time is it gives the frozen blueberries a little bit of a chance to soften and the batter to temper a little bit more because it makes it easier for scooping. Take a 1 ounce scoop. These do not spread very much, so you can really put them pretty close together. There are a couple left. So I like to take them almost like you're topping a chocolate chip cookie before it bakes with some extra chocolate for that really Instagrammy effect. And that way nothing goes to waste. So I'm gonna bake these for 12 to 14-ish minutes. I'll check them after 12 to see. I'm also gonna rotate them halfway through, top and bottom, and then flip them front to back as well. And you're really just looking for them to be a little drier for sure. The domed tops are gonna be dry. They'll continue to bake with that residual heat once you take them out. Ooh, they look gorgeous. They do need to cool on the baking sheets for about 5 minutes. When I press on them, they have a little bit of give, and I can see that they are starting to take on a little bit of color around the edges, which is perfect. You do not want a ton of color on these. Now it's been about 5 minutes and I'm going to transfer these to a wire rack. And the wire rack is nice too because this is also where I'm going to be glazing them. So you can see that the bottom has this really nice golden color, not burnt and not too doughy, which is what we're looking for. And that's how you know that they're properly baked. I'm gonna let these continue to cool completely. We do not want them to have any radiant heat. You don't want to make the icing too far in advance because powdered sugar icing glaze like this can develop a crust on the top when you leave it for too long. Before I add any water, start to whisk this up just to see what my consistency is at. Now, anytime I'm making a pourable glaze like this, I definitely want to start on a conservative side. Looking at this, without even adding any of the water, I'm like almost there. This is honestly pretty much how I want it to be. It disappears back into itself, so I'm not even gonna bother adding the water. I like to use a spoon, and I like to start it in the bowl because usually that first plop is gonna be the biggest plop. Glaze is still a little bit wet. I like to zest the lemon so that it cascades and falls onto that wet glaze and it'll set into it. And visually, when I'm eating something, I wanna see the component parts of the recipe. Now that the glaze has solidified on the top there, it's time to try one. You definitely get that hit from the lemony glaze. The almond is like a whisper, and the blueberries just have this nice kind of like burst of flavor. And they're definitely cakey, but they're not like dry. These would be perfect to take to a picnic, to a tea party, baby shower, drag race viewing party, whatever you want. They're just gonna be crowd pleasers, I know it. And so you can find this recipe along with many other recipes you thought I was gonna say at nytcooking.com or the link below, which yes, but also in Cookies, the book, authored by me. The best recipes for the perfect anytime treat. So pre-order your copy, or if you're watching it after October 28th, 2025, buy your copy.